At Direct Service Overhead, we know how much trust you put in the individuals who have the privilege of working on the components of your home. We understand that a broken garage door is the last thing you want to be worried about, and most of the time, doors break at the most inconvenient times. Our professionally trained technicians service 24 hours a day, and our high-cycle parts are guaranteed to make a noticeable impact on your garage door without putting a damper on your wallet. If you're looking for need of assistance maintaining your current garage door, our team has the experience and expertise to deliver the results you deserve. Give Direct Service Overhead a call today or visit us online to learn more.
Okay. Oh. You guys ready? Are you ready for a Georgia breakdown? I am. Let me get a swig of water here. 3, 2, 1. Yo, what's going on, Arkansas Razorback fans? The maybe couple of Georgia Bulldog fans and still disgruntled Texas fans. Welcome to the Pig Trail Network YouTube channel. Thank you guys so much for stopping by. Subscribe. You know you want to. You know you want to subscribe. And yeah, like the stream. Share the content. Good Lord, share the content. That if you do anything at all, if you do just one thing, it'd be awesome if you do that. I've been posting more of these streams in more places on Facebook. I'm just waiting for someone to be like, this is not the place for that. I'm waiting for it. Look, man, when you're an independent, I don't know, Razorback commenter, YouTuber, whatever, you gotta find the viewers. It's really hard to I mean, people, you know, YouTube is just now becoming this thing, and I think a lot of it has to do with like YouTube TV, and you know, they have these shorts now that they do. Like, they're becoming a more appealing place to go to for stuff like this, for sports. You know, and it helps too when other Razorback YouTubers or other college athletic YouTubers do well, because it brings more people to this space, and it's one of the reasons why I root for everybody, man. I do. I root for Razorback content creators, even the ones you wouldn't think that I root for. Some of you probably know who I'm talking about. I root for them all. I really do. I root for everyone, especially if you're from Arkansas. I root for them, man. Bobby Bones, someone who lately has kind of had a weird feud with Phil Elson on Twitter. And I'm like, he took some, I don't know if any of you saw that, but that was weird. Phil Elson, voice of the Razorback. I mean, you know who he is. You know who Phil Elson is. And Bobby Bones, who's like the, I don't know what you want to call him, celebrity ambassador for Arkansas sports, I guess, because he's such a big name. And he got in this weird feud with Phil Elson on Twitter. a little while ago. Something about old or fans who hopped off the bandwagon, and Phil Elson said we need to bring on everybody we can. Let everyone come back. It's okay. Arkansas is doing great. And then Bobby Bones says to hell with that. And you don't speak for us. Really weird. But even him, like I root for Bobby Bones, right? If you went to the U of A and you're not even from Arkansas but you claim the Razorbacks, I hope you succeed in life. So long as you're not like a huge asshole. Hey bud, I think you're on the wrong podcast. Oh my gosh. Dude. What'd I say? Texas, I mean, like they just can't let it go, man. They got their asses whooped and they just cannot let it go. So we're just gonna bam. We're just going to deal with that right out the gate. Yeah, when it comes to every show and you're just here to do that, we're going to deal with that in a certain way. So we'll be seeing you later. Anyways, all right, do me a favor. Yeah, subscribe, all that stuff. I do appreciate you. I had someone email me about the I guess they were talking about the Nick Smith. So obviously that was a big show. That did really well. Nick Smith's commitment to the Arkansas Razorbacks, top 10 player, one of the highest rated Razorbacks now, or players to ever commit to the Razorbacks. The sound on that I have no control over. I had OBS pumped back up after I turned it down a little bit. I turned it back up, and then the volume. So either YouTube broadcasted soft or OBS just never corrected itself when I pumped the volume back up. Out of my hands at that point. Nothing I can do about it. No one complained about, as far as I saw, no one complained about the volume in chat, and I had someone email me. I appreciate you guys bringing it up. I do. Like, tell me if the volume in chat or if the volume on the streams isn't real great, let me know. I can correct it right here. And I've got 2 different places to adjust volume on this overly priced but yet kick-ass microphone. I can adjust the volume here. It's pretty cool. Lights up as you turn it up and down. It's pretty cool. It's not like a knob. It's like you run your finger over the lights. It's pretty sweet. And then on OBS, I can handle the sound. Georgia is a tall order. We're going to get to that here in just a second. Been a while since I've gotten to watch, but as always, great stuff. I have an Arkansas audio podcast. Are you plugging yourself, Aaron? I'm just kidding, man. Georgia is legit all over the field, but their quarterback is banged up, and he controls the whole offense. Yeah, we're going to discuss that too. There's some questions about what's going on with the health of JT Daniels. You tried so hard not to kill his ranking system. Wait, what? I don't know what you're talking about. That DA in here every pod. Oh, you're talking about I don't know what you're talking about, Camo. My bad. I don't know what you're talking about. Yes, I am. Laugh out loud. Why not? I told you. That's cool, man. That's fine. Yo, what's up, Kelly Marie? How are you doing? Take the like button to dinner at Lone Star Steakhouse, but hand them a gift card to Texas Roadhouse after the meal. Then pretend to go on to the bathroom and leave. So just hit the like button. Hogs by 100, says T-Dub. The line has been a little up and down this week, but not much movement. It's gone from, someone told me it was at 19 yesterday morning at like 6 o'clock. Never saw that. I've only seen it go from 18.5 to 18. That's all I've seen it do. Did it go to 19 today? Did it go up? It's actually down to 17.5. That is the spread as of today, right now at 11:11 a.m. 17.5. So it is dropping. The over-under is changing a little bit too. It's at 49.5. Okay. That's interesting. I hadn't checked. I wanted to surprise myself. I stayed away from the spread all morning. I was talking about yesterday. A friend of mine brought up in a group chat that the line had gone up yesterday morning to 19. And I didn't see that. I kept up with it all day. I kept refreshing. I was just curious to see how much it spread. And then I woke up this morning and I decided, you know what? I'm not even going to look until right as I go on stream. Just to get a good feel, you know? And we could talk about it. We can discover it together. And probably some of you were already ahead of that. 17.5 is the spread now. And again, the over-under at 49.5 for Arkansas, well, for the game. Buddy's ranking system had Hawes at number 1. Who's Buddy? Who's your buddy? I don't know who. Is that like a friend of yours? Or are you talking about Mark Rogers, whose show I go on? Yeah, he has Arkansas at number 1. You have to understand why he has the system. It's not without fault, but in his eyes, it's a resume poll. It's a what have you done for me lately poll. It's not a who would beat who on any given Saturday poll. It is a what have you done on the field so far poll. Anyone see Traylon's tweet replying to the Nolan Smith comment about their defense? Not a good look for us. Negated that locker room material and gave it back to them. I don't know. I'm not sure. I have not seen that. T-Dub with the super chat. Las Vegas gives a 10% chance to win. 10%, man. I love our odds. These boys play lights out when disrespected. Who you were last year means nothing this year, says Jared Collins. Exactly right. I agree with that. Michael Kopesky, watch out for Georgia tight end. One guy is 4-star beast with 4 touchdown catches. And the one that's coming back from injury is a 5-star beast from Vegas. Our linebacker can't miss tackles, and Arkansas has to swarm. Swarming hasn't been a problem for this team. Someone on Twitter, I thought this was really clever, nicknamed the defense the Red Swarm. That's what they are, and that's one of the reasons I wanted to get a defensive picture for the thumbnail. Really hard to edit in Photoshop. I found a couple, and I went with the one that's on the thumbnail now. But there were a couple others that could have been a little bit better, but they're really hard to edit. And when it's hard because when the stuff behind them blends in with their helmet and their shoulder pads. I don't know if any of you have ever worked Photoshop before. Dude, it's so hard to work with. It is really hard. So I went with this one. I'll take the Hogs at 17.5 for 100 tie. What do you guys think of that spread? 17.5. We have Discord thread today. We have a new Discord thread. If you guys want to respond to it, go join our Discord. As always, I'm going to post that link for you. That way you can get in on the thread, and you can comment here as well. But also join the Discord. It's pretty crazy in there. It's nuts. All right, the question was. Who has to have a big game tomorrow? Who? And just one player, of course. DB Land 84 gives me 2 players. I love it. But give me one player that just has to have a big game tomorrow. Can be anyone you want, but you think that person has to have a big game. And again, you can. This is for people watching after the fact. If you're not here live, you can answer it in the live chat. You can answer it in the thread. But I'm more likely to read the thread on Discord because it's easier to keep up with. DB Land says Dominic Johnson, but he also says and KJ. Kelly Marie says, is it too obvious to say Burks? If so, I'm going Ridgeway and or Trey. We're doing great here. We're doing great. I asked for 1. I'm getting about 5. I love it though. I agree. I agree with all of those. L.A. Susan, I don't ever know how to pronounce your damn name. I'm just gonna call you Eagle in Discord. I don't know if it's supposed to be Lasuzzo Eagle, L.A. Suzzo Eagle. I don't know. But he says Catalan. That's a really good answer. Catalan didn't do much last week. And we know that when he shows up, he's got a habit of coming up right at the right time when you need him to come up with a big third down tackle or a pick. He could force turnovers. Catalan, I like that reply. Turkey says Bumper pull. Bumper has been, he's been lights out, and we saw it last year, and we knew something was up. We didn't know anything was up with. I had no idea, but it was broken ribs. But we knew that the defense, there's something right when you've got all these linebackers that are getting this kind of production on the field. And Bumper Pool was one of those last year. Grant Morgan. Henry, we kind of saw, he had some flashes, but it was mostly Bumper Pool. Bumper Pool led the country in tackles for like 4 weeks last year. And I know last year kind of up in the air because of COVID. Some teams weren't playing or some conferences decided to opt out for a little while. But, he still had unbelievable production. He's an all-conference caliber linebacker, and he showed us what he's capable of in this defense, and has had great moments. And this year, it's like you can tell what I was trying to get at earlier. He's healthy now, and he's does he over pursue in the backfield a little bit? Sure. All right, nobody's perfect. All right, but I like that response, Turkey. Austin. BF 70-25. Ridgeway, got to disrupt the run and force them to pass. Big man Ross is Traylon Smith. Sir Blue Eye says KJ and Burks need to be connecting while our guys are in the trenches. Need to play a hell of a game on both sides of the ball, but that's not what I asked. Give me one player. That's all I wanted. To be fair, I didn't say that. I guess if you read my comment below the title, it says, give me just one, and one is in all caps, by the way. Give me just one guy. But no, you're right. I agree, Sir Blue Eyes. And then look at Nashay 26 giving me the Trey Williams name drop. That's what I'm talking about. Trey Williams. Oh, my gosh. Cam Little, hey, it may come down to special teams. We don't know. It could come down to special teams. It could be insane. It could be a crazy, low-scoring game, and you're going to need special teams. You could even argue Reed Bauer. You could argue you're going to need to pin these guys back, get them back behind their 10 and 5-yard line. But I like the Cam Little approach, too. Cam Little is the GOAT, says Flying Blind. Yeah, Johnson is the one, though. Ty, you're the key. Thank you. You're so sweet. We need Kern to not shit the bed in this one. Skelly Marie. Boy, ain't that the truth. Grant Morgan, Brooks Jones in chat says D-line kills it tomorrow, says Hoyt Allen. So about that, you do know he's probably JT Daniels is one of the least touched quarterbacks in the SEC. Their pass blocking is pretty good. Let's just put it like that. Arkansas, with a 3-man front, though, has looked really good. Ridgeway has done a great job in the interior part of the defensive line, clogging up gaps. You cannot block him. He's so difficult to block, just man up. When he's across the center, lined up at nose tackle, oh, my God, he just dominates people. And, of course, last week he was up against a freshman center, but, that dude – they claim him to be arguably one of the best recruits off the offensive line they got in that most recent class, and he got destroyed by Ridgeway. Trey Williams has been, he's just been great. 4 sacks on the year. You got to love what you're seeing out of him. He was number 3 in the country in tackles since 2019, going into A&M according to the CBS stat thing. Yeah, if you're talking about Trey, yeah, because he's got 4 now, so yeah, that he's at 4. Has to be Ridgeway with that freshman center. I'm not even a betting woman, but that spread, that's easy money. Hogs cover that all day, yeah. Definitely 4-man defense until we can prove we can make it with less, says Lesuzzo Eagle, who I've said I'm just going to call Eagle in chat, but I'm about to leave in 30 minutes for Athens. Whoa! Congrats, colorful snacks. congrats, man or woman. Congrats. Have fun. Represent the Hogs well. All right. So, opening this bad boy up here. Opening up the Pandora's box. Arkansas. So we're hearing a lot about the talent that they have, and someone sent me a screenshot. I guess Hog Sports broke down their Georgia's recruiting classes in the last 5 years, or since 2016. 2016 they had the 6th overall class. 2017 the 3rd overall class. 2018 the 1st overall class. 2019 the 2nd overall class. 2020 1st. 2021 4th. They are a top 3, top 5 caliber. Like 2016 was not a to Georgia fans. They're probably not satisfied with that 6th ranked recruiting class, despite the fact they haven't they're not winning championships, right? But they're still recruiting at a really high level. And the expectation there under Kirby Smart is we're going to recruit our asses off. And Sam Pittman was a big part of that over there, by the way. You look at their offensive line, you look at their stars across the offensive line. Chock full of talent, man. Chock full of talent. But you know what? And like so many of you are going to remind me of, so was Texas A&M. For sure. Some things that concern me for this game, right? I would have to say the biggest concern that I have when you're looking at them on defense, I mean, first off, yeah, their opponents are only scoring 6 points a game. That's terrifying. But their third down percentage on offense is actually higher than I realized. I think they're hovering just north of like 50% on third down. Their third down defense is, really good. Really, really good. I had it pulled up here. Third down conversion percentage on defense for them is 12th in the country. But you know who's higher? Do you know who has a higher percentage and has played a much, much more difficult schedule than Georgia? Arkansas. Arkansas has the 10th overall third down defense. But again, Georgia giving up very few points. Look, Arkansas spotted some points this year. There's no doubt about that. You go back to Texas when that game got out of hand and Arkansas was, again, they were going prevent defense. They were backing off on coverage. They were rotating out more 2s and 3s. Younger guys were getting reps in that game. And I mean, like fourth quarter, like early fourth quarter, you were seeing guys sub out. And then Texas started moving the ball really well. And Texas fans are going to hear that if they're, all of them that are in chat, all 2 of them, the ones that can't get over the fact that Arkansas whooped that ass. They'll say, "Well, no, you're just saying that because our backup quarterback came in and blah 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 blah." Go back and watch the fourth quarter. Go back and watch it. Go back and watch the guys that rotate. It's not that hard. I mean, they clearly were rotating. They were clearly – they wanted to get out of this thing healthy. The game was already out of – it was done. It was over with. It was done. And, they were spotted some points in that game. They were spotted a touchdown on a terrible PI call on third down. They should have had the field goal team out. Nope, they got a fresh set of downs, and then they scored on the very first play after the penalty, after the flag. So I don't know, like when you look at on paper, they're already identical. In fact, again, Arkansas, when you're just talking about third down conversion, which is huge, that's a gigantic stat. That's one of those that we don't look at enough sometimes. Like I think that's one of those that you highlight. In Arkansas, considering who they've played, now I get it, A&M on offense, not exactly spectacular. So maybe they've only played one good offense this year or whatever you want to call it, but regardless, they've played 2 teams chock full of talent on offense that are loaded up with 4 and 5 stars. You saw the A&M Arkansas side by side stats, the rankings, the recruiting rankings. It wasn't even close, and that just didn't matter. But that again only tells part of the story. You got to have the right matchups. You got to have the right coaching in place, and you got to have the right game plan installed, and A&M didn't. Texas didn't. Does Georgia? Georgia, without a doubt, I'm not trying to make the claim that Arkansas is better on defense, but I am saying I think Arkansas, and my friend Tim, I like what he said about being in the same zip code. I think Arkansas's defense is in the same zip code as Georgia's on defense in terms of, we talk about it all the time, the eyeball test, just watching them play, watching the red swarm on defense. Was it David Pollock that talked about that said that Arkansas's defense, it's like they've been in cages and haven't been starved? And as soon as a guy gets the ball out in the flats or whatever, a running back tries to bust outside or tries to run in a gap, it's like it's not just one Razorback there, it's like 5. It's like the entire defense just swarms to the ball, and he's exactly right. It's like they're just hungry, a pack of hungry dogs, and the ball carrier is the food. Or maybe piranhas. It's like feeding other dead fish to a pool full of hungry piranhas. Like they just swarm to the ball. They get it done on the field. Now, I'll admit, I'm a little bit, I hope we don't have a second half season collapse like they did a year ago. And we've discussed why that is. I've talked about that on Mark Rogers' show. I've talked about it here. I've talked about it on any other thing I've been a part of. We know why that happened. You weren't able to develop the back end of your roster, the back end of your depth chart, because you didn't have a spring camp. You were doing all your install and getting everything up to date during fall camp. You're trying to do all your installs and everything, uploading all of your coaching knowledge through what little contact they're allowed to have, in the summer. I think it's none. I don't remember what the NCAA said as far as that was concerned. You can have contact, but you just can't coach on the field or something. It's weird. The NCAA is weird. They want these kids to enjoy their summers. I get that, but I mean, come on. Like, you got to at least can they send like, can Kendall Bryant, can he like upload, here's what you need to do on a chalkboard behind him, drawing up X's and O's and then forward the video? Can he do that? Maybe that's what was happening. But that's when they were doing their install, was during fall camp. They weren't able to develop the back end of their talent, the back end of their roster, and that's not the case this year. We had as far as I know, uninterrupted offseason. I don't think they had any COVID scares. I mean, not that we would know because they can't release that information, but I mean, everyone, we know who was there. We know who was active. We're seeing those results. That's what you're seeing right now. You're seeing, and they talked about it. Sam Pittman talked about how they're able to rotate and keep guys fresh. They couldn't do that last year. And that's why I'm still a little, I'm always, just by nature, I'm waiting on that other shoe to drop. Well, the defense is playing great right now, but can they keep this up through the gauntlet that is this SEC schedule? That's what, and I think most Hog fans feel that way. Like, this is about, you haven't even played the best offense yet that you're going to play all year. That's probably next week. And maybe Ole Miss has gotten better on defense. We're going to find out a lot about those two schools, about Alabama and Ole Miss this weekend. But so Arkansas, I think, is in the same zip code as Georgia when it comes to certain areas on defense. I think Arkansas is just as physical. I think they get to the ball quick. And I'm really getting, the belief that it's only because Arkansas has seniors and super seniors why they're being competitive. I've seen this used by other fans. Well, the only reason that Arkansas is doing this is because you're loaded down with seniors and super seniors. Now, if you guys recall, that was one of my reasons why I really liked Arkansas at 8-4, why I thought they'd be north of 6 or 7 wins, because of that, because of super seniors and seniors. But to pretend like they don't have talent, you're not watching these games. I mean, the seniors and super seniors are talented, and so are the underclassmen. Like, if you look at the underclassmen, those are the guys that are also a huge part of why this team is played as well as they have. I mean, It's been pretty astounding to watch. Some of your best ballers, as a matter of fact, Treylon Burks isn't a super senior. KJ Jefferson's not a super senior. Your backs that have shined this year, I mean, you know, what year is AJ Green and Raheem Sanders? Oh, that's right. They're true freshmen. Dominic Johnson's a sophomore. Warren Thompson's a transfer, I guess technically a walk-on from Florida State, but he's not a senior. He's not a super senior. And it's not technically his first year in this offense, but he wasn't here a year ago. This is his first year in the Arkansas version of the Kendall Briles veer and shoot. I think the whole argument that they don't have talent, that they're only here because of super senior, it's a big reason. I'm not going to lie about that. That is absolutely a huge reason. I hate these excuses that people come up with. They're just, and I've seen that, all caps, only reason. Saw this on Twitter. Seen it on their message boards. I'm getting message boards, the stuff they're saying. People are posting them on Twitter, and I've had them sent to me on my some friends texting me some screenshots from their boards. These are fans. They just have a certain belief that the Arkansas is in the position that they're in only because of how, you know, senior leadership. And yeah, Sam Pittman's a good coach. They'll yield on that. Like, yeah, all right, he was better than we thought. Okay, Kendall Briles, but you guys are going to be complete and utter garbage next year after all these seniors are gone. Well, we'll see. I don't. Do they take a step back next year? It's possible. Sure. Captain Mike says, love this show. Hey, man, Captain, you're always welcome here at the PTN, my friend. Frederick Clemens, what up, Ty? What's up, man? How you doing? From Georgia, my dad's going to game row 6 on 45 behind Georgia bench. Lonely Hog. Boy, he is going to be in a sea of red and black. Going to try and talk him into signage. Get some signatures. Absolutely. We just play the cards we're dealt. Like everyone else, there will always be factors involved as to why we do what we do. Says Big Donnelly. Mr. Bloodline, is Georgia quarterback injured? So I don't know what to believe on JT Daniels. I don't know how much of this is smoke. I don't know how much of this. Kirby Smart did talk about him having he's having some back issues. It's like his midsection all around his body is hurt. His oblique, I think I've heard that term like twice in my entire life. And his lats, his lat. His oblique and his lat. I've never heard, I've heard of lats, but oblique is one that I mean, I knew it was somewhere upper body, but lats, I couldn't, I was talking to Mark Rogers about that, and I was like, man, I think they're back, right? Or is it just south of like the midsection of your back? I don't know, but he is dealing with some injuries. Kirby Smart talked about that a little bit. I don't know if he's I've seen on Twitter people are making the claim that he's out, and then of course you've got some people that give themselves an exit, like, oh well, I'm hearing it's a possibility, and maybe it is. I think that it is a possibility that if he plays, he's going to be hurt. I think the what Kirby Smart was talking about with dealing, I guess, again with his back injury or problems that he's having, it could affect his game. It could affect JT Daniels' ability. I mean, you think about your throwing motion. You wind up, you're torquing your torso, like, So, God, I hate this chair. I'm gonna throw this chair out the freaking window. Obliques are the muscles on the side of your abs, says Eddie Cetera. Obliques flank either side of your abs. Oh, Lord. I can't say that word. Latimus. I can't say that word. Latissimus dorsi, a.k.a. lats, run underneath each arm. And continue to wrap around the back and meet near spine. And now everyone's in on it. JT is suffering a lat injury. Yeah. Yeah, we've just talked about that. If you've ever tried to throw with even sore lats, it's painful. JT Daniels can get over it, rub some dirt on it, quit being a pansy, says Brandon Smith. We have an Arkansas education. Use smaller words. Oh, man. Lumberjacks make the best Razorbacks. I don't know what that – are you talking about Warren, David? I agree. They've been pretty damn good, haven't they? So, yeah, he is dealing with an injury. We don't know. There's no confirmation as to whether or not he's going to miss. It's been rumored that he might. I think it's absolutely a possibility. All right. Going on about what Georgia has on defense. A couple of people reached out. Ty, what's the deal? What's going on? What's their defense full of? Well, they're full of first-round draft picks. Going from, in no particular order, Adam Anderson, 6'5", 230-pound outside linebacker. This dude stands out. Now, I think they're all healthy and good to go. I believe they're healthy and good to go. These coaches, they're getting more and more like they use it as a tactic, right? They throw off the media and then they throw off the opposing coaching staff. So I'll sit here and tell you about a guy, and then we find out that Saturday, like, oh, damn it, he didn't play. There's an injury we didn't hear about. Maybe that's the case. As far as I know, these three are good to go. Adam Anderson, 6'5", 230-pound outside linebacker, 3 sacks on the year, according to Sporting News. Now, all the mock drafts you look up are going to be dramatically different. CBS, I looked at CBS's yesterday, and I didn't jot any of those down, but it was dramatically different than Sporting News. But I went with Sporting News, but they have him ranked right now somewhere in the top 25. Right now, technically 21st. Nakobe Dean, inside linebacker, 6 foot, 230 pounds, 225, 230, depending on where you look. 2 sacks on the year. He's ranked 22nd. They're projecting him to the Niners as the 22nd pick. You know the Niners. They don't mind taking a good linebacker. Drake Greenlaw out for a little while. I don't know if you guys saw that. He got banged up a couple of weeks ago. I hate that for him. And then the guy that will probably Jordan Davis. This dude, 6'6". If I had to guess who gets taken first, assuming he stays healthy, he's a clogger, man. He's a clogger. He clogs up them gaps. 6'6", 340 pounds. If I remember right, his recruiting, he was like a highly rated 5-star for them. Pays off, man. It does. He's projected at 25th. I think he goes higher based on what we've seen so far this year. Now, I do think I think he was dealing with some minor injury earlier in the year, or maybe it was the offseason. I seem to remember reading that somewhere. He's already got a couple sacks on the year. Mel Kiper has him as the number 1 defensive tackle in this draft. There are other places that think he's a top 5 pick. Some places don't even have him in the first round. Like I said, they're all over the place. And then, of course, you have JT Daniels, who I think if he could remain healthy, you know, there was a time where he was projected as a guy that could make the Heisman shortlist. 6'3", 210 pounds. Again, his draft status is a little unknown. Ranks 8th in the FBS in total quarterback rating, sitting at 87.6. You got to remember, too, think about how good they are right now as a football team, and they're doing this with a semi-banged-up quarterback and no George Pickens, who is a badass wide receiver at Georgia. Georgia last year had 9 players drafted. That was the most ever for Georgia in a single year, so that's a school record. And I also have noted here, you guys already beat me to it, Georgia quarterback JT Daniels is dealing with a lat muscle injury. Rumors swirling around that JT Daniels may not play by the sounds of it. He was limited some during practice this week, but as of right now, and I wrote this last night, as of right now, I think he plays. That could change. I don't know. We'll get to their backups here in just a second, and we're going to go over who they've played. We're going to go over who they've played and where these teams rank in terms of offense. And is Georgia's defense maybe a little bit overrated? I mean, I don't think so, but I get some of the skepticism based on who they've played so far. I'll get to that in just a second. I think Morgan gets drafted, says Jared Collins. Jordan Davis is fast, too. He's a freak. He's just a freak, man. I mean, he's a freak of nature. I think his ceiling at Georgia is he could be to Georgia on the defensive line to what maybe like I don't know, maybe to what Treylon Burks is to the receiving core at Arkansas. Like, I think that's his ceiling. Now, their stats don't stand out as much unless you're getting tackles for loss and sacks, but he clogs up the gap. He's so difficult to block one-on-one. Obviously, I do think he's better than Ridgeway if you want to compare the two. I think he's, if I'm being honest, now Ridgeway has completely outperformed all expectations so far this year. He's also done a great job clogging up gaps, getting pressure, very difficult to block man-on-man. He's tough to block by himself, or just by yourself. He's proven that he could push folks back and make things difficult. He'll make life difficult for quarterbacks. I wish he was a little bit more consistent, but that's hard to do when you're as big as he is. When he's got that body size, that frame, it's hard to be great every series. It is. There's very few guys in the NFL that are that size that can do that. And these are some of the most conditioned beast on planet Earth, and they can't do it. But I have seen one of my biggest criticisms of Ridgeway, if any, I'm blown away by how well he's played. But it seems like sometimes he might take a few plays off. But that's a lot of guys. There's only really a couple of players at Arkansas, and I'm talking about great defensive players that I thought battled every single down, and Trey Flowers was one. In fact, I think that's why Trey Flowers worked out so well at New England. He did not, and he's just naturally good. He's technically, you watch his technique really good with his hands and his arms, knows how to use his body, stretches himself out, makes the play. He just doesn't take plays off. I hope he gets back to close to where he was at New England with Detroit. But he just didn't take plays off. And another guy that always used to surprise me was Jake Beckett. Very consistent pass rusher, very consistent, but always seemed to come through at the end of a game. It seems like that's when he would make his biggest plays, towards the end of a game, somewhere in the fourth quarter on a real big drive. There's Jake Beckett making plays. Again, they didn't give it their all every single snap. That's hard to do when you're that large, when you're that big of a human being, and you require all this energy to move your body. And on top of that, you're dealing with these 6'5", 6'6", sometimes 6'7", 6'8", 320-pound monsters. Yeah, man, it's hard to do every single down. Georgia has only beat one team with a winning record. Why is it that these top teams feel that they don't have to play a decent non-conference schedule? I don't know. I'm thinking overtime win, says Camo Gang. Wow. Jeremy Sprinkle played a ton of snaps versus Eagles. He looked good blocking for the run game, says Tristan. Jordan Davis at 6'6", 340 can run running backs down in space. He's like I said, he's a freak. Nolan Smith is really good. Nolan Smith stands out. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm not going to go down the entire roster, Michael, but yes, Nolan Smith is really good. They have several players that stand out, but those are all guys on defense that I don't think Nolan – I don't know that I saw him anywhere in the first round. I don't – maybe he does. I'm sure you could Google his name, and someone will have him projected in the first, but Sporting News didn't, and I don't think CBS Sports did. But it's really early, super early. Would not shock me if Georgia got 3 or 4 defenders drafted in the first round. Would not shock me at all. And, they're really good. It just goes without saying, right? Goes without saying. So, their third down conversion defense, really good. Arkansas third down conversion offense, really bad. And that, again, third down play calling for me has just been most of the time, not every game, most of the time it just feels like it could be a little bit more imaginative. I don't know. It could be a little better. Some of the play calling on third down has just been odd. Some of the decision-making on third down and even fourth down this year has just been odd. Giving the ball to Treylon Smith on a 4th and inches. What? What is he? He's the size of my right arm. And you're going to have that guy run into the jaws of a big physical defense? Come on, man. I didn't understand that. Like, let KJ keep that. And from what I've been told, that was designed call. That was meant to be given to Treylon. Now, that was one individual. I'm sure someone will have a different point of view, but I don't understand that. There's been some bizarre play calling, but again, I think Kendall's been great this year as an offensive play caller. Did you guys see 247 release their top coordinators in the country? I think it was a list of 10 coordinators, I think, and they put Kendall Briles on there and not Barry Odom. Like, don't get me wrong. If you want to have the discussion of having him on there, okay, we can have that discussion. I think, again, he's been a great OC this year. He's got a quarterback that can run his offense, but like, how do you put him on there and leave Odom off? Like, I don't understand that. I don't get it. First down defense. Arkansas is also top 20 in that category on first down defense. So there's some areas here where their defense looks maybe as good or better. And again, you have to argue that there's certain areas. Again, we talked about third down defense. First down defense, Georgia, though, not a category you're going to be better. They're third down right now in the country. They don't give up a lot of yardage on first down. They don't lose on third downs. This is a Kirby Smart coach team, right? So going down the list here of what these two teams do. Georgia at 42 points a game. Again, we talked about they only give up 6 points a game. Total yards, 454. They average almost 278 yards passing per game, which is, it's not surprising. Rushing yards, they're about 100 yards behind Arkansas per game, but they're not, the design of this offense it's not power run oriented like Arkansas is, so that's to be expected. But they're at 177. Again, yards allowed per game, which is ridiculous. 181 yards per game. Yes, I'm aware of who they've played. I'm aware of these offenses. And again, I'm going to go down those numbers in a minute. In this day and age of college football, that's unbelievable. To not even be giving up like 220, 240 a game. Like how many yards allowed? Like, what's the average this year in college football? Like 280? I don't know. That's literally a shot in the dark. I don't know. But 180 yards, they give up about 115 through the air and only 66 yards per game. Arkansas, until A&M, they were north of about 40 points a game. They're down to 35.8. We all know, had KJ played the rest of that second half, they're putting up more scores. A&M look at that first half, man. They had no game plan for KJ. They didn't know what was coming at them, and it's just ridiculous. It was just ridiculous. And then you lose him. You're not able to put up more points. Obviously, you're going to take a hit in the point column. But it's, again, 35 is nothing to laugh about. Like, that's just pretty good. What were they last year at this point in time? Like 18 points a game. So 35, almost 36 points a game. They're only giving up 14.5 points a game. Total yards per game, 480 yards. Passing, Arkansas averages just south of 220 yards. Rushing, which is ridiculous. I haven't seen these numbers in a while. 261 yards per game on the ground. Yards allowed, 267, which is fantastic. Again, 267 of their 180, but I think Arkansas's strength of schedule is better. And I know Clemson's their big win. Clemson's not. This isn't your same old Clemson team. They're 2-2 right now. But again, Arkansas only gives up about 267 yards a game, 144 through the air, and 123 on the ground. That's phenomenal. Those are just great numbers. Roman Demand just says L. All right, cool. Georgia is beatable, says Michael Kapaski. UGA has elite played, but there's only one football to go around, and our RD is not going to lay down. The Hogs are going to smack the Dogs in the jaw. Defense wins games too. They do. UGA always plays a good out-of-conference schedule. I think Clemson's, it's not their fault. Clemson is just not the old Clemson. And I'm not trying to dog that. Like, that's respectable. To put, I don't know when they scheduled Clemson. I don't know if they scheduled them when like 8 years ago, or if they scheduled them like 5 years ago. I don't know. But hey, tip of the cap. That's a good team to schedule. What did Joe say? Someone said Joe nailed it. What did Joe say? I don't see what Joe said. You're going to have to like copy and paste it. I don't see what he said. Derek King, 24-13. Yeah, and I want your scores. Go ahead and start sending them to me. I want your scores. And someone copy and paste what Joe said. I'm curious. If it's the Joe I'm thinking of, he's usually got some pretty good stuff to say. Tyler Edmonson. Yo, what's up, Tyler? How you doing, man? How you doing? Georgia's secondary is not unbeatable. So, who has Georgia played? Okay, on offense, we're gonna discuss that. It's not good. It's not good. They've yet to play anyone. Well, their highest offense they've played is 79th in the country, and that's UAB. And you wonder, like, what does that mean? 79th for UAB? Who else have they played, right? You go down that rabbit hole. Clemson right now has the 121st overall offense in the country. UAB 79th. Now, we do have to discuss how much yards they gave up to these guys. They only gave up 180 to Clemson. 79th ranked offense, UAB, they gave up 174. South Carolina, 116th in the country on offense. They gave up almost 300 yards. Multiple 20-plus yard throws against South Carolina, or by South Carolina against Georgia. And Vanderbilt, this is ridiculous. 123rd, okay, their offense is terrible, but they only gave up 77 total yards of offense to Vanderbilt. What the hell? I'm pretty sure Ramey Junior High down the road, where I've played football in 8th and 9th grade, I'm sure they could put up more than 77 yards of offense against Georgia. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe not. But this is ridiculous. Like, their defense, they can't – it's not their fault these offenses are so bad. But it says something. They're showing up and they're playing. They don't give a damn. Now, the South Carolina giving up almost 300 yards, I mean, that's going to happen, right? I mean, that is an SEC school, even though South Carolina's, South Carolina. But I feel like if South Carolina can do that, and that was at Athens, I think. The difference, though, between this game and that game is that it's game day. A lot of hype behind this game. I guarantee you Georgia's, these guys are going to be ready for this. They're going to be ready for this in a way that maybe they, their preparation is going to be, I think, a little bit different in terms of just the knowing the magnitude of this game. This is a game, I think some of their fans would agree, yeah, we could lose it because Arkansas has a damn impressive, they're 4-0 for the first time in forever, and they've beaten two at least respectable teams compared to who Georgia's beaten, which right now is nobody that's respectable. Clemson, they're top 25, but are they? How do they finish out the year? Clemson's the only one. Clemson's kind of the anomaly, though, because it's the ACC. If you look at their strength of schedule, dude, they have like the second easiest schedule in college football amongst the Power Five. So they'll probably go 10-2, but in reality, if they were in this conference, they probably go 6-6. But still, I'll give them that. I'll give them Clemson. But I think Georgia fans, and we've got one in chat, would argue that, yeah, there's a possibility we could drop this game. Hell, even the FPI has Arkansas a 10% chance. I like looking at your body of work, and they have done exactly what you would want them to do, even against these awful offenses. Like the 180 to Clemson. Now we've Clemson's offense. They've got some problems. They've got some huge issues. Did not expect anybody like 77 yards. How do you only get 77 yards? Hell, Arkansas has farted penalties for more than 77 yards. in a ball game. That is ridiculous. And I think it speaks to how good Georgia is on defense. Yeah, Vandy's terrible. But 77 yards. You just don't see that against anybody, FCS or FBS. It's ridiculous. Someone's hiding behind a... All right, now his messages are hidden, so he can no longer be seen. Jayhawk says, if Burks has a big day, we win. I don't know about that, because ultimately that means KJ played well. I mean, it could, but they also use KJ in a lot of different ways too, though. Some of these I just can't clear. I'm getting a lot of hidden held for review messages. Arkansas 40, Texas 21. What are you talking about? Go talk smack to Texas Tech fans talking to Texas boy in chat. All right. So having what we have here, I don't know. We're coming up on that hour mark. I've got some concerns. I've got some real big concerns. Number one, is KJ Jefferson's bone bruise, how significant is it? He did come back and play. They talked about putting numbing gel on it. Hopefully he was able to work through it on the week. Sam Pittman said Monday that both him and Burks were still a little sore. If KJ's ability to run the game or run the ball is hindered, that's a problem. That's a big problem. I maybe the numbing gel. You better pack up on all the numbing gel in the world. Is all I got to say. If KJ Jefferson is not good to go for this game, as far as like his ability to run, it could be a long day. Now, running the ball, establishing the run is going to be tough. This is the biggest test. I think so far it's going to be the biggest test. Now Clemson defensively was phenomenal against Georgia, and I think that is a legit. I think Clemson's defense, no doubt, legit, and Georgia struggled with them. So maybe it's something similar to that. Maybe it is a low-scoring 14-10, 20-10, 20-7 kind of game. I think anymore, if you score under, I don't know, if you score under 30 points these days, it's low scoring. But it could be a really tight game. And I just, my concern really is it's KJ's, like how hindered is he with that leg, with that knee, with that bone bruise. I think it's right below his kneecap. I think is where they said that bone bruise was. It is a concern. Being able to establish the run against Georgia is going to be tough. Now, someone pointed this out in chat. Their secondary they haven't really been truly tested. South Carolina, if you go back to that game, multiple deep throws. I think they had at least 2 throws of 30 and I think another throw for like 60 yards or something. Like they were able to kind of stretch the field out. And you saw they had almost 300 yards of offense. Is South Carolina's offense, are they as efficient as Arkansas's has been? Again, knowing who they've played? No. Now, the conditions are different. This is I don't know. I'm not going to say it's like Texas walking into Fayetteville. I'm not saying that. But it is going to be a hornet's nest. Anytime you have 2 top 10 teams inside Athens, a place that holds 95,000 people, as I was told on Monday's show. I thought it was 88, but it's 95. With game day there, it's going to be wild. Now, the good thing is it is an 11 o'clock kickoff. Maybe the crowd doesn't have as big of an effect as they would if it were a 6 or 7 p.m. kickoff. There's a lot of, you'll hear me say often, there's always variables. There's a lot of variables in this one. It's going to be a test, man, for both teams. And I really, it's another one of those because the sample size is getting larger. Arkansas is outperforming where anybody, I don't care who the hell you are, nobody had Arkansas top 8 in the country. Nobody thought they were starting this year off 4-0. And no one's given them a shot here. Nobody's given them a chance in Athens. But so far, they're proving people wrong week in and week out. And the sample size is getting larger, and it's getting more difficult to look at these games and give a good score and to tell you what to expect. It's hard. I didn't say I said they'll beat Texas. I didn't think they would do what they did to Texas. I said they'd beat A&M. Same damn thing. They could have scored twice easily, 2 more times in the second half easily with KJ. In my opinion, Malik Hornsby had some success, and you think about that being at a neutral site. We know it was hard for those guys to hear down on the field. I thought he did okay. You're going to tell me KJ, I mean, we saw what he did at the end of that game when he did come back in. These games are getting harder and harder to really analyze, to predict. We can sit here and watch all the film we want. All you can say is, do they pass the eyeball test? And right now, Arkansas clearly passes the eyeball test. All right, so does Arkansas beat the spread, which is what I say it was at 17.5. Did it go to, was it 17 or 17.5? Do they beat the spread at 17.5? Ty, tell me. Yes. I do think they beat the spread. It's going to be, it might be tough. Like I said, this is another, again, it's getting tougher and tougher to and again, you look at Georgia's resume, like how good is it really? How good is it really? Do I think they're an elite defense? Absolutely. They hung a whole bunch of points on Vanderbilt and they left nothing but scorched earth against Vanderbilt. And I know it's Vanderbilt, but good God, dude, that's just unheard of. So there's again, you analyze each and every game, you look at the numbers, you look at the stats, we go over their stat sheet, but it's getting harder simply because of just how much better Arkansas. And this year, college football is crazy. It is. This has been a crazy year in college football. Ole Miss, Alabama. I don't know. I don't know what that score is going to be. I have no idea. It feels like 49-38 or 49-40. It's probably going to be high scoring, but then it could be 21-14. I don't know, but I like Arkansas to cover the spread here. I don't pick them to win this game. If this were Fayetteville with game day atmosphere, with or without game day, I don't know where I would pick. I feel like it would come down from I absolutely believe this team wins, whoever it is, to down to a coin flip, which means it's going to be really close. I don't think this one's a coin flip. I just feel like Georgia. We have to be real. Georgia is legit. They pass. They just look freaking good. And again, you have to factor in the game day atmosphere. You have to factor in that many fans are going to be at that game. These fans are rabid. I don't know if they're as rabid as Arkansas fans are or not. Probably. I'm sure Georgia fans will tell you they are, but good Lord. That Fayetteville, Texas game's I had to turn the volume down on my speaker because I thought it was going to blow out one of my speakers on my TV. That game was loud on my. That's the loudest game. I have my setting preset, how many lights on the volume bar. I had to keep turning them down. And I've watched a lot of football with that sub or with that surround sound. I've never had to do that. That includes NFL and college. I had to turn that down. So I don't know, but it's going to be loud. It's going to be a tough environment. Georgia fans are wild, and I love the fans that wear the shoulder pads with the spikes. That's awesome. They've been doing that for decades down there. I always have thought Georgia. I have no problem rooting for them. They're a team. When I say to hell with the SEC, I don't usually include Georgia in that. I kind of like Georgia. I like guys that have played there and former coaches there. I've always not a fan, but I don't have a problem rooting for them, especially when they play Florida or Bama. But this is a game. Yeah, obviously to hell with Georgia this weekend. I want to beat them, but yeah, it's going to be tough. I don't like Arkansas to win this one. I've got Georgia. I don't have a score. I only had it written down that Arkansas would beat the spread. So my score, I'm just going to go with. Let's go. Because I'm, that Vanderbilt, it's like you're torn between what happened with Clemson and what happened with Vanderbilt. I'm going to say Georgia gets 25 on the board. Let's say 25-17. I think it's going to be close. Maybe Georgia, for the first time, Arkansas gives up points in the first quarter, which hasn't happened this year yet. Maybe Georgia finds a way to get some points early. Maybe they rattle Arkansas a little early in this one. The crowd gets into it, and it just gets hard. But then Arkansas maybe kind of finds a way back in the second half. They've been a really good second half team under Sam Pittman. We've yet to see these guys let go of the rope. Last year, second half of the season, injuries, COVID, again, not being able to really develop the back end of your depth chart really hurt these guys. Not being able to rotate in quality depth at certain positions. That doesn't seem to be the case this year. I mean, we've seen how well, how much better you feel about, like, when they have to rotate guys in and out. Hudson Clark rotated with Ladarius Bishop, and I've heard people bragging on his performance. Like, he actually looked really good. He locked his guy down. Didn't give the quarterback a seam or didn't give him a chance to give him any good looks when he was out there, when Hudson was out there. So you feel better about, I don't feel like this one, it could get ugly. It could be 25-0 before Arkansas gets points on the board. I don't know, but I don't feel like they let go of the rope entirely. One way or another, I think they find a way to get some points on the board. Wouldn't shock me whatever happens in this game. Again, it's just getting tougher and tougher to analyze every week. But, I think Arkansas finds a way one way or another. Maybe it's maybe they get a pick six. Georgia has turned the ball over a little bit. They've sacked opposing quarterbacks 14 times this year. JT Daniels is rarely ever pressured. It's going to be a good test across the board for this football team. Arkansas can force turnovers. They can pick you clean, and something the Georgia likes to do too. They love to clamp down on receivers. They break on the ball really quick. I mean, they have a habit of they don't need a pass rush to pick you off. Like, their corners are that good. It's not like a panic throw, being panicked because of a pass rush. Now they will. They're gonna be in KJ's face. They don't have a ton of tackles for loss this year, which is interesting. They've got 14 sacks, but other than that, they're not real high on tackles for loss. So maybe you can get the north-south run game going one way or another eventually in this game. We are going to put up 2 touchdowns. I honestly believe KB is good enough for that. Yeah, well, like I said, I've got 17. I know everyone has said Arkansas will not be able to run the ball, but I'm thinking Briles gets creative. I think so, Mark. I think you're probably right. There could be. My predictions, Hogs 13, Mark Curls 14. Is Mark Curls officiating? Has that been verified since I've been live? Dear God, help me if that's the case. Ty, with all due respect, Arkansas's number 8. What else does Arkansas need to prove to you, doubting the Hogs? You do know who we're playing, right, Michael? I've not doubted the Hogs. I've picked him to win the first 4 weeks, Michael. What the hell are you talking about? Whoever said Georgia has only played one team with a winning record and over a third of our time was second stringers. And third, we've played 3 teams, blah, 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 blah. Prediction, Hogs win. Bet the under. KJ hits the century mark in rushing and passing. Like I said, anything is possible. But what I have seen from Georgia, and I got on my film a little late this week, what I have seen is they're fast. They flock to the ball. They give you similar looks to Arkansas on defense. They'll rush 3. They'll rush 3 and drop everybody else. They'll run multiple fronts. They have, timely blitzing. I mean, they kind of mirror Barry Odom a little bit. They mirror what Arkansas does on defense to some extent, or maybe it's the other way around. Maybe Odom mirrors what they do, since Georgia's the established football team here. What's the status on Arkansas's quarterback's health? He's good. He's dealing with a bone bruise. It's kind of the same thing we're getting out of Kirby Smart with his quarterback situation. Like, you don't really know what to believe. As far as I know, KJ's healthy. He's gonna play. Him and Burks both. KJ and Burks both. When was the last time UGA has won a national title? What does that have to do with anything? Are you talking to someone else in chat or me? You got to at who you're talking to. We need to rush. We need to rush more than 3 to be effective, says Hoyt. Look, sometimes it's okay. Like, I get it. Arkansas's top 10 in the country. Everyone they don't want this to come crashing down. And I don't think that it does. I don't think just because you lose to Georgia. I mean, there's a reason why people believe that they might be the best team in the SEC this year. There's a reason for that, based on what we've seen so far. That could change after this week. The great thing about football is you play the game on the field, right? Anything can happen. I don't know what that means. Ty needs a rock bottom for that prediction. If the refs decide the game for Georgia, I will riot in my living room. I've got an SEC sign over here that I'm just waiting to burn. Have I shown you guys that before? I've got it over there. It used to sit behind me in my when I first started doing these live shows. It's not possible, just improbable for us to win. Thank you. We need a miracle. Miracles can happen. Thank you. I agree. Ty, I think you're right. I think we lose, but I say 27-24 Georgia. I think a field goal determines the game. And again, these games are just getting freaking hard to predict, man. They just are. Arkansas is getting better and better. They're playing great. They're doing what they need to do to win games, but it's like they've not, other than Rice, and again, the second half of Rice, a lot of people, the only reason why I bring it up, because it is the only black eye on the season, is that first half performance against Rice. But since then, it's been, it's like Arkansas just clearly outmatched everybody. They've just been the better team on the field week in and week out. So, and I think this is the first week where that's not the case. I think Georgia is the better team. At least they've had the better product so far. But we're going to find out a lot about a lot of teams this weekend, actually. Notre Dame plays Cincinnati this weekend. That's cool. I want to watch that. I hate to say it, but I'm rooting for Cincy. At first, I was like, please blow out Cincy. I'm tired. They're ranked ahead of Arkansas. They've only played 3 games. They haven't beaten anybody special. They're going to get rocked. I'm taking Notre Dame, but a part of me just wants Cincy to blow Notre Dame out. But now we're going to get all this, it's going to be UCF all over again. Cincinnati goes on and they're undefeated. Ty, that's why we're so apprehensive. We're afraid to hope. No, stop with that. People keep saying that. Oh, you got to believe. It's not about not believing. It's about what I've seen. It's about what I've watched. I believe in Arkansas, man. I told you guys Monday, even if Georgia blows Arkansas out, I don't think that you throw out 8-4, 9-3, 10-2. Georgia is just that good. It's okay to admit that, guys. It's okay. They're just that good. And maybe they're not. Maybe I'm wrong. I will do what I always do. I'll own up to it. The question is, will some of you? Because I've been told that time and time again. Ty, you better own up to it if you're wrong. Like I'm not even going to go down that road, but I own up to it, and I love being wrong if I doubt the Hogs. I love it. There's no one more excited about it than me. And I've had a few of you come back and they're like, oh, all right, you're right. Like a year later or several weeks or several months later, Georgia's been getting better and better and healthier. They return a couple starters this week. They return a tight end. Both those tight ends are highly rated. Their leading receiver is Brock Bowers. And that guy moves, for someone his size, he moves really well. 18 catches, 272 yards. If you guys remember Zamir White was a super recruit. Highly rated prospect. He's got 37 carries, 207 yards. He's averaging almost 6 yards a carry, 2 rushing touchdowns. James Cook, 22 carries on the year, 123 yards. Just south of, he's about the same, 5.6. none of their backs, I was looking at this earlier, none of the running backs have a run longer than 23 yards or 24 yards. And that is actually by a receiver, Lad McConkey. I think it was an end around against Vanderbilt. No. It was like a check down throw, I think. No, it was a rush. What am I saying? It was a rush. I think it was an end around. But I remember hearing his name and hearing them talk about how he's not the kind of guy that gets the yards after catch. But yeah, they don't have any big plays from the line of scrimmage, like rushing wise. Their longest rush from the line of scrimmage this year is 24 yards. Their longest, now they did have Brock Bowers had an 89-yarder. He's got 4 touchdowns on the year. Their second leading receiver is Jermaine Burton for 2 touchdowns with he has a 73-yard reception, but 12 catches, 219 yards for him. And then McConkey has 8 catches for 118 yards and a score. How many different receivers have scored? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different receivers have scored in the end zone. They've gotten it in. So, someone got timed out by Kelly Marie. Mark Curl's piece sitting. Oh my God, I love it. Oh, he's Thanos. Is that what you're saying? That's great, man. I think Arkansas is a good team, but I think Georgia's is a better team. Sure. Looking forward to a great game as DS Dogs. Bowers runs a 4.5. Yeah. Which is ridiculous for a tight end. That's crazy. They've got a lot of speed, but I think Arkansas does too. And again, for you Georgia people in chat, do not buy into the fact that Arkansas is only senior led. Plenty of talent on this team. Very underrated talent. Up and down the roster. We've been saying it for years. Chad Morris just didn't know what the hell he was doing with it. Last year we started to see it we started to see the product on the field. Like they looked like a better team. But like Kirby Smart said on Monday, this is not the Arkansas team from 2020. Now, again, the environment's going to be tough, man. Game day, Georgia fans know what's up. They know what's on the line. They know this is a big game. It's going to be loud. It's going to be hard. It's a completely different environment. Arkansas's not been in this kind of environment this year. I don't know. Again, someone asked me about the status of KJ. As far as I know, he's healthy. I'm just concerned about that bone bruise. I'm concerned that might limit what makes him so great. Again, he's the only SEC quarterback north of 800 yards throwing, north of 200 yards rushing. He is a force to deal with when he's fully healthy. And we knew this would happen. This guy, and this is why I said Malik Hornsby has to be ready to go. Malik Hornsby has to be ready to go. And he might be needed in this game. And based on what we saw against A&M, I'm skeptical that he could do it on a consistent basis, leading the offense up and down the field and going and grabbing some scores. He did lead them to a really important field goal in the second half, but against A&M. But obviously I don't think KJ's QB1 for a reason. All the backs, again, as far as I know, are healthy. Everyone's mostly healthy. They did lose Dorian Gerald off the defensive line. They lost him for the year. He was a highly rated JUCO prospect. The guy could never stay healthy. Always you're starting DN, and then he goes down after the first game. Feel bad for Dorian, but they're making do. Trey Williams, 4 sacks. Just an elite pass rusher. By the way, I wanted to show you guys this really quick before we end it. I'm going to share my screen with you. Turn up my desktop audio. Here we go. We're going to turn that up. And then I'm going to share my screen. I thought this was really cool. Talking about, and I know Kelly Marie doesn't want to hear this replay.
You'll see. This I remember watching this when it
Look at
first
this.
happened and thought this was just unbelievable athleticism.
Beats the
Trey
basically a
does
double
heck of
team.
Job. Kind of what seems to be kind of a stalemate halfway through the rush right here.
He does rewind too much. Good God.
Second move, dips under, can feel this 74, their left guard coming to get him, and dips under that to get the sack. That is unbelievably athletic and so hard to do. You got a slow-mo version of it right here. Dips under
Look at that.
again.
God.
when you can technically take a double team and
all right,
split it
all right.
like
That's
that,
enough. That's enough. That's
that's
enough.
when you know you got something special right there.
That's from Hogs Plus. So shout out to them. Great content. I'm not subscribed. I feel like I should be. But yeah, pretty good stuff. He's a freak. Trey Williams is a freak, man. And Ridgeway is going to anchor. He's going to anchor down. Ooh. He's going to anchor down the defensive line, and in the middle there, it's going to be interesting to see how this defensive line responds to Georgia's pass blocking. It's going to be fun to watch. Arkansas will have some trick plays up their sleeve that involve Hornsby. I mean, we've been waiting on these packages. We've been waiting on these Malik Hornsby packages for a while. We saw him come out and play because he had to. We haven't seen him come out just for a set down. At least, I think maybe once. I think once he was on the field with KJ. Or was it Georgia Southern he came out? But we haven't seen it in a game in a big setting like this. I haven't seen it yet. We saw it his freshman year, came out. But I want to see it. I'd love to see Malik Hornsby out there. And someone had brought up, I think it was Bertuccini on his show, said, why do you want both your starting quarterbacks out on the field when you could lose one of those guys? What happens if you lose either one of them? You're in some big trouble. That's a good point. So you guys should check out Brooke Austin, film guy. He breaks down Arkansas's defense and offense. I think you guys will like him. Good show. I subscribe at Go Dogs. I appreciate that, Bradley. All right, that's going to do it. I'll see you guys on the post-game show right here, usually a couple minutes after the game, sometimes maybe 5 minutes, but I will go live regardless. I'll go live on the post-game. We did not, of course, I want to give shout-out to the sponsors. Direct Service Overhead. They will repair, replace your garage door. You can visit their website. Their link is provided for you down below in the description box. And, of course, Stated Apparel, who's based out of the downtown Benton area. They make the softest shirts. They're made right here in the state of Arkansas. They carry name brand merch as well, Native and Southern Marsh clothing brands. They have both of those. You can check out their link provided for you as well. They're in our Discord. If you guys want to join our Discord, the link is also in the description box. So I appreciate each and every one of you. Patreon supporters, your rock stars, all of you who have been here, who have liked the stream and shared the content. I appreciate it. Go Hogs. I'll see you tomorrow night or tomorrow afternoon. Again, taking Georgia. But I like Arkansas against the spread, but I'm taking Georgia 25-17. I hope I'm wrong. It'd be great if I was, because I'm probably going to be hammered on the postgame show if that's the case. Woo pig, go Hogs. Stupid ass chair. I hate this chair. I'm going to throw this chair out the window.
At Direct Service Overhead, we know how much trust you put in the individuals who have the privilege of working on the components of your home. We understand that a broken garage door is the last thing you want to be worried about, and most of the time, doors break at the most inconvenient times. Our professionally trained technicians service 24 hours a day, and our high-cycle parts are guaranteed to make a noticeable impact on your garage door without putting a damper on your wallet. If you're looking for need of assistance maintaining your current garage door, our team has the experience and expertise to deliver the results you deserve. Give Direct Service Overhead a call today or visit us online to learn more.